This video is going to be a little bit different than some of the others we've created. Oftentimes we start from the perspective of browse AI and knowing how we approach things and how the product works. But in this case, I want to start as somebody who may be less familiar with web scraping or with browse AI and just walk through the process of how a person might be thinking they want to get data and how that translates into browse AI speak. So let's say I'm on a page like this, publicsquare.com, and I know that I want to get from within a category. I want to come down here, click onto businesses, and I want to get the contact information of some of these businesses here. So when I click into one of them, for example, under the About tab, we've got at the bottom of the page information about these businesses, and I would like to scrape that. So my thinking might be, well, I need to teach the robot to come in here and click on this tab and then click into an item and then click into this about page and then scrape these items, meaning that I have to teach it the entire process of coming down to the list and into the item. That's not quite right. The way it works is this becomes a two-robot system. The first robot comes and gets the list of items, and the second robot will get the details from each of those single items. Let's actually start with the second part of this. Let's start from a single item page like this. So this is a company page. Let's start with this URL, and I'm going to go train a robot to scrape that URL. Since that is the end result of what I'm trying to get is that contact data. So let's paste this URL here. I don't need to log into this website. I'll click Start Training Robot, and I'll use Robot Studio. So we're going to start at the end of this process rather than the beginning. Maybe that will help clear up how this whole process works. So on this individual page for the single company, I'm going to show the robot what I want it to do. I want it to click into the About tab here. And then I'm going to scroll down, click Capture Text, and then Just Text. So I want this phone number, I want this email address, and when I hover over Visit Website, you'll see that's just text. But if I move to the left, it says link. So that's what I want, is I want this link. And I guess in order to know which business it was, let's scroll up and get the business name. Why not get a little extra piece of information? Let's get how many likes it has. And why not the image URL? Let's stop there. Okay. So now I'm going to press enter. Let's call this phone, email, website, company, likes, logo. And I'll press enter. Okay, so now I've gotten from this one company these pieces of data. I'll click Save Captured Texts, and that's actually good for this page. So I'm going to finish this, recording this robot. I'll be given a robot name suggestion, company details, sounds good to me. I'll click Save. Now the robot's going to run the task on a cloud server, and it's already done. It's very fast. Okay, so that's one company done. What can we do from here? From here, if I wanted to do things manually, I can go back to the main list of businesses here and click into another one. Let's open a couple of them. Let's open this one and this one. So what I can do is I can come here, copy this URL. It's a different company, but the pages are all laid out the same. So I can come here, replace this URL with the new one, and then run that task. So even this would save me some time, even if I did it very manually and copied them one at a time to get all those pieces of data. That's still going to save you a lot of time because this is a pretty quick process and I don't need to do all this stuff manually. Okay, so that's one. Let's do another one. Let's get one more company here. I'll go back to run task and I'll paste this URL here, click run task. And then I'll show you what this looks like in the tables tab here. Opening Chrome, and there we go. So this one did not have a phone number, so not all of them will have all the pieces of data. So I would suggest, here's maybe my first tip, find the best possible representation of the thing you're trying to scrape, the one that has the most data points, and then use that one as the example. Because if I trained it on one that didn't have a phone number, and then I do want to get that phone number, it won't know what to do when it encounters a page that has it because I didn't train it to get that. So use the best example of whatever that item is that has all the data points you want. Okay, so now I've got 3 items here that I have scraped. If I go to tables, I can see all of them right here. So I can see the company name, how many likes, the logo, image URL, and all the rest of the data. So that's not bad. I've done a decent job of getting some data from multiple companies. So now I want to go one step further and ask myself, well, how would I do it better than doing one company at a time? Well, that means I would need to get this list of items here. So this becomes a different robot to train. So I'll come here and go back to the dashboard, build a new robot to get the list of items. Paste URL, I don't need to log in, and we'll start training this robot using Robot Studio. So when this page loads, I will simply show it the list of items I want to scrape, tell it how many I would like to get, and specify what the pagination is. Now, on this page, I do have to click on businesses here to get to what I want, and the robot will handle that perfectly. It knows what to do when I say to click on this, it will repeat that action. And then I'll scroll back down here. This is the list of items. So let's click on capture text from a list, and I'll hover over the list items. And as you can see, if I move my mouse just a little bit, it changes what I'm capturing. So be very careful as you're doing this that you're getting the list items you want. So let's just click on this and see what it gives us. Okay, it has named the list for me. I'm just going to call this actually businesses because I may want to do not just health and wellness. I might want to do other categories. So I'll name this businesses. Business name, business link, cover image, avatar image. You can delete some of these if you don't want this. If I don't want that, I can delete it. If I want to rename this, maybe business profile link to be more clear. Okay, and it's gotten 10 of them. Let's say I want to, let's go back to the page and look. How many are on each page? Maybe 25 or so. Let's just give it a number of, let's say I want 50 of them. It is determined that the pagination is click on next. Let's review that to make sure. Yes, it does appear to be correct. Let's click confirm and we'll save that captured list. All right, now let's finish recording this. Businesses list sounds good to me. I was going to run the task in the cloud once again. It's going to get me all those businesses and the links to those detail pages. Okay, so now that I've got the list of businesses, what can I do with this data? First, I'll click yes, looks good. So one thing I can do is I can go to tables for the list of businesses here, and I can export this data to a CSV, which will give me these URLs, these profile link URLs, and then I can go into the company details robot and go to tables and then import that CSV. And that will run all those URLs in bulk as though I had just given it one at a time, but via the CSV. And that's pretty good. That's quite handy to do it that way. That's a way to make it much faster. If you had not just 50 or so, but if you had hundreds of them, that will save you a lot of time. You can also create a workflow such that you can choose the first robot. This has done it for us automatically. I'll actually show you the whole process. Build a workflow and specify which robot will trigger this workflow. Robot A is the businesses list. So when I get the list of items, that triggers this workflow. Robot B is the one that gets the details, and that is company details. And the origin URL of each of those businesses will be the business profile link. So that's the URL it needs to go to for each of those items in that list. And then I can choose when I want this to run, robot B. Always. So every time this robot runs, I always want to run robot B. Only if robot A finds changes, only if robot A finds new items, or if robot A finds new or changed items. I'll leave it on always for now. And I'll save and enable that workflow. So now that workflow is built, but nothing has been done yet to run it. So why don't I just run a task from the businesses list. So let's just say I want 10 businesses, and I'll run that task. So when this happens, it's going to run the first robot that gets the list of items. And when that happens, for each of those items on that list, the second robot will run. So if I go to the history tab here, you'll see this one is finished successfully. And if I go to the company details history tab, you'll see this is a bulk run. It's running 4 of 10 URLs. You can see the process here, the progress, 40%. I can click into it and I'll see each of those. So now what I've done is I've built a robot that gets the list of items. I've got a robot that gets the details from each of the items. I've built a workflow to run automatically when the first robot runs, always go get the details via the second robot. And that's all available now in tables. So you might be asking yourself, if I've already gotten some of this data from the first time I ran it, 1, 2, 3, will it overwrite anything? And that's what show historical data is for. I can show historical data, meaning the first time that this ran was this one. And I also see the new one. So I see each version that has come up. If you hover this, when the same data is captured multiple times, the previously captured data are historical data that you can choose to hide if you only want to see the most recent version. So it does not get overwritten. It gets a new row in your table, and you don't have to see it. If the exact same URL was used, you don't need to see that data if you don't want to. So if there had been more likes, let's say this was done days later, if there had been more likes here, it would show the new number of likes. So it's not overwritten, but you do get the new data. If you want to keep things up to date, it will show up here. So hopefully that has been a good overview of the process you can take if you know what you want your end result to be. Maybe you start with that end robot, the last one. I want details from this specific page here. So you know what you want to get in the end. And then you figure out how to get the list of items and then put them together. So I wanted to maybe show the reverse process of how we would normally teach, which we would start with the list of items. But I think most people realize they want that data that's on that last page. And so the way those two connect is via a 2-robot system and not a single robot that you teach to do all the things. And you can do it more simply. If you don't want to automate as much, you can just come do one URL at a time if you want. You can import a CSV if you want from either the other robot, or maybe you've already got a list. Maybe you've got a list already somehow of the detail pages. Maybe you've already done that work. And so you can import that CSV into your robot to get the company details. Import that CSV right here. And of course, if you want to, you can integrate this last robot in your workflow, the one that gets the most data. You could integrate it with Google Sheets or Airtable, or you could automate even further with something like Zapier or Make or Pabbly to get the data into whatever app you're looking to view your data in. Hopefully you have found this video helpful, and we'll see you in the next one.